Okay, so we're back, episode 6 of Let's Be Direct with our guests, Lane Gobiel and Michael Terxani. And we brought these gentlemen back for this because in our previous episode, episode 5, we talked about programmatic direct mail. And now in this episode, there's just so much to talk about around programmatic. And we're really, like I said before, we're super excited about it. It can do so many things and integrate in so many ways. And so that's one of the main reasons we brought Michael back today, is because with Goose Digital, Michael can provide us some more insight into how we might integrate the digital side with the direct mail and vice versa on this product.
Great. Yeah. So maybe before we get fully going into the concepts that we were talking about earlier, is kind of going back to what ultimately the programmatic direct mail, kind of the step before the actual mail piece going out, is really kind of the special sauce that you guys are managing for companies, right? And I think let's talk a bit about what that is again, like, that this data layer, this rules engine, this thing that kind of you help enable for organizations. Then we can look at what other actions could we layer into that. Of course, the digital actions that we're going to talk about, right?
Right.
So maybe we go back to, like, what is this? When we talk about programmatic direct mail, is so special, and it's not the piece of mail that they're getting necessarily. It's this other piece of data work that you're doing beforehand.
Right. I love the fact that you use the term engine, because that's one of my favorite words around here. The idea is that we should be building an engine. We should be building an engine that you start, it runs reliably, does the job. It has inputs, fuel, whatever you want to call it, and outputs, energy or results, however you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, again, to circle back a little bit, the programmatic is basically taking everything that we know about marketing and integrating it with some incoming data on a daily basis that is timely, has a great offer, is personalized, and can be trickled out to those targeted audiences after going through a number of filters and refinements to make sure that we're saying the right thing to the right people at the perfect time.
Right. Lane, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dan's summarized it, but at a high level, again, data sources are coming in, whether that's from your internal CRM or that's from an external source like weather data or geolocation data. And then, the system's really going in and refining that. So based on demographic filters, geography, customer suppression, a lot of different things we can filter in there. We're outputting a very, very specific target. So you may start with 20,000 people. That 20,000 people may be 1,000 people at the end of the process, but you're targeting those 1,000 perfect people that you want to market to.
The most ideal.
Yeah, the most ideal targets.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I think when we look at that being so powerful, right? Because we talked a little bit offline about these customers. They're not bringing you this thing on a silver platter. It's like ultimately a lot of the engine is being built by you guys. Like, you've got the tool sets and the IP and all the facilities to make that happen, but that's really ultimately this powerful engine that's being built ahead of time. Now, because you've got all the capabilities in the back room, and I know we've got some awesome B-roll that Harsh took that we're gonna probably maybe right now we're cutting in, we're seeing the warehouse go, right? Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so cool. You can fire a piece of creative out to those 1,000 people. Yeah. So then we started to think about, and I know customers have asked you guys for this, like, well, wait a sec, like, we don't want to be one channel. And now we've got this intelligence engine that's running, that's shooting out the 1,000, that we really want to get to. Well, how can we bring this to other channels? How can we do this 100%. On things like email? Yeah. How can we do this things on, Facebook ads? Hey, well, you talked on the first podcast about the whole dog park scenario and, going into a retailer, maybe going out with a piece of mail that really works well for that example. Well, can we put an ad on Facebook now for the week? That, again, is not just casting the super wide net, but is very similar. Right. In fact, not only very similar, but likely going to be very close to the same creative that exactly. That you're now popping in the mailbox. So, is this something that we can do? Yes. I mean, for sure. If we want to take a bit of a step back and look at what we're doing on the digital side without that type of data, right? A lot of times what you're doing is you're taking a subset of, say, postal codes or a subset of customer lists, and you're saying, well, I want to run an ad and I want it to go to, these individuals, this area, for example, right? I want to run it for this period of time. Well, through the integration that we can do with you guys now, we can actually have those campaigns run directly in conjunction with the programmatic direct mail.
Yeah, I think storyline. More and more you see, and I mean, you're in the industry, obviously, that people want a turnkey solution. They don't want to have to go through hoops and do high jumps and across moats to try and get something going that's not going to be their biggest main marketing focus. It's another add-on. It's another way of integrating some of the channels they're already in and bringing it all together. So I mean, we've been able to provide that kind of support where, okay, look, if you've got this data coming in and you need to get this going because you see the value in it, but you see a lot of issues like, oh, we have to modify our web page, or we have to we can build a landing page. We can help we can help with the creative. We can manage, obviously we're direct mail experts, so that side of it's easy. So how do we make it easy for the more digital side-minded and side-end-minded individuals and marketers? And that's part of what we're doing with this whole platform.
So on the activation side, or on the, maybe before the offer is being actually taken action on, what we're saying is, well, we have marketing automation systems that we can use that same data feed, and we can now drip out to a series of target customers based on this intelligence engine that's being built. We could launch ad units that run, again, to these targeted groups with specific creative. That's raising awareness, just like the digital mail pieces, or just like, the physical mail piece is doing, right? We're raising that. And then what you touched on is, well, what happens after that? Like, oh, I want to click this email. These are turnkey campaigns in the sense of what you're talking about, which I love, is we're not asking the marketing department within XYZ customer to now, oh, well, that's just one more email drip campaign that we now need to think about, or this is one more ad unit that we need to worry about, or no, this is something that can be added into a program and run. When I go to take action on all those awareness pieces, where do they go? So one thing that I'll let you guys talk about that. One thing you brought up was the landing page. Sure. So, hey, well, we can host that landing page. Maybe it's a lead, maybe it's an offer. What other things, when they're clicking that ad, when they're doing the QR code that they're responding to, that we can offer them?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on email as well.
Yeah. Or clicking the email.
Yeah. Clicking on the email, but even distributing the email itself.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So they click on the landing page, which maybe creates an email that goes out, which then potentially takes them to an incentive fulfillment kind of platform, which we happen to have with the Grataflow product, right? And so we've got that kind of we can almost take that whole universe and make it really simple for them. Imagine a marketer sitting down and going, okay, I've got a budget of X $100,000 this year. I really read a lot about incentives and how do and we've been talking about it at the C level. We need to reward them for whatever. Mm-hmm. What kind of an almost overwhelming task that would be to try and integrate that into your program when you'd have to almost build something from scratch. So we've got this Grataflow platform sitting there that can integrate beautifully into all of this. So a respondee, or a responder, I should say, receives an offer as a result of some activity, right?
Yeah.
And that offer is, hey, let us give you a quote for XYZ, or let us list this, or whatever that is that you're attempting to market or sell. And if you allow us to do this, or if you take some other action with us that is of value to both of us, we will reward you with perhaps an electronic gift card to whatever gas or Amazon or what have you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that from what's interesting on the programmatic direct mail is that it's obviously, you can see this world where you want to get the direct response. You're trying to get, sales, you're trying to get lift, you're trying to get whatever that is. But you can also see how it can be so powerful from just a brand marketing perspective, right? Like a couple of the examples we had in the last podcast where somebody's now in the area, in the neighborhood, and they're doing an install, and something sent around to that neighborhood that talks about that service, right? So even if I'm not in the market right now for an air conditioner, that landing page might be bringing me to an overview video about, hey, this is how it can work. This is what they do. Yeah, if you happen to be in the market, you're going to see this offer code. You can use it. We're in your area. We're giving you 15% off a new install. But even just knowing that they clicked it, even knowing that they went through to that landing page and, hey, they watched a video about our company, they're learning more about our business, that's a massive brand lift, and it's very relevant at that point, right? It's not like you're doing a radio ad blasting everybody that under the sun that doesn't need an air conditioner. It's like, no, we're in your neighborhood already. 1970s homes, we're doing one. Likely they're all probably going to need one soon too.
Sure.
It's like it works really well, right? In that sense, from a brand perspective, not just a direct response marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
What else, guys? What other kind of use cases? I don't know that we went into Grataflow enough for people to maybe fully grasp it. Maybe we should spend a bit more time on that unique kind of value proposition.
Yeah, at a very high level, Grataflow enables campaign-based marketing efforts to reward with an electronic gift card to the responders. So an example we're using it right now would be you do a peer-to-peer event for a not-for-profit, i.e. you run 100 kilometers and you raise $5,000. And if for doing that, the not-for-profit is going to reward you, or the charity is going to reward you with an electronic gift card or some kind of reward. And this just makes that whole piece really easy. You basically, we get the feed from the charity saying, so-and-so did their event and they raised $5,000 and they are entitled to a card. So we have the platform that would then send an email out to that participant and say, hey, come get your gift, and we fulfill that gift. So it's an e-gift fulfillment platform, fully branded. In fact, the participant will not even know that it isn't the charity that they did the event for, the one-to-one fundraising event. So it's really great because in terms of your traditional kind of direct mail thing, where you've got, I can start all over from that one. It's really great because in oh my God, now I'm losing it. It's really great because with the Grataflow product, it's a simple, it's a quick, and it's an easy way to get a landing page in place where you can collect the information, keep all your branding, all of that's in place, and we can then take that information, and as those responders come through, we can actually then create backfeed files to a HubSpot or some other marketing automation platform as well.
And then, and obviously what you're saying is they make it to that landing page is branded. They there's multiple options that they can pick in terms of their gift card process, right?
Yeah. And I think in Dan's application, he's talking about charities where you know who the individual is, right? Like they've already signed up for this ride or this walk. We're also utilizing it for industries like insurance and automotive, where you're trying to incent someone to take an action, whether that's get an insurance quote, come in for a test drive. So the way Grataflow's utilized for those applications is, here's a $25, $50, $100 gift card, get a quote. And that can be through a direct mail piece that's sent out and it's integrated with. That could be with an email campaign. If you have existing clients that you're looking to cross-sell, upsell.
It can be inbound even.
It can be inbound. Yeah. So it's about integrating that offer with different channels on that initial touch point with the consumer, and then driving them to take some sort of action. Again, like get a quote, raise more funds for donations, taking a test drive on a car, go to a VIP event, loyalty. Really it's about, again, offer, action, and then fulfilling that reward once they take the action in real time. So we've taken a traditional gift card, physical gift card, where with some of our clients, by the time you match back the offer to response and mail out a physical gift card, it could have taken upwards of 6 to 8 weeks sometimes to kind of go through those various processes with the different people in charge of different data. We've taken that down to about 8 seconds. So the platform integrates with a variety of outbound and inbound offers. It really satisfies the fulfillment and gives the consumer instant gratification. Versus having to wait 6-8 weeks and not remembering like, why am I getting a gift card now 6 to 8 weeks later?
Right. And it's a great platform for collecting information on that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. And then you can easily match that back into your own system.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that whole thing of like 6 to 8 weeks later, because I did one for contact lenses, and there was a promo to get, if you just bought like a year's worth or 9 months worth or something like that, you'd get like a $50 something. Right. I guess it comes back as a Visa. But by the time I got it, I was like, what is this? And it was weird because like the name of the company that actually owns the contact brand, like it's not, it's like I didn't even recognize it. I actually thought it was, I thought it was a scam at first. Right. Because I was like Apollo or whatever it was like, it didn't, it's like I use AccuView, like whatever. It's like, I had no clue. It took me a while to like actually unwind it and be like, oh, okay, they own like lenses. Like it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And it was like I think it's like a prepaid Visa. And I was like, this is a scam of some sort.
Can't be real.
Yeah. But so I like what you're saying is like, if I just did that within a digital system, first of all, it's going to be instant recognition. Number one, I'm going to know what I'm doing, and it's happening all in one shot. Meanwhile, like, and then on top of that, like you've got all these options. So I really like that.
And as Dan was mentioning, it's branded, so it looks like it's coming from
the right place.
The right place.
Even the
right
outbound,
email.
even the outbound email can be the domain of the marketing company, or the marketing or the marketer.
Yeah. So you were saying earlier, Lane, that like, when we start to, I think as this programmatic direct mail offering evolves, that it becomes almost like, how do we leverage this engine that, one of the ways is the programmatic direct mail. It doesn't have to be a direct mail first initiative.
No.
Right? You're talking to clients right now. Maybe you want to go through that again you're talking to them about a digital journey. So why don't you expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's flexible, right? So depending on the objectives of your campaign, you may be leading with digital, you may be leading with direct mail. It depends, where this makes sense in the customer journey. And again, is this acquisition? Is it, that you're looking to, upsell or speak to existing customers? Again, what is that objective? So with our program, you can induct that data into the workflow at any particular point in that customer journey, and the system will pick that up, and then we can go to either a physical or a digital reach out from that.
So that's integrating
or both.
Yeah, exactly. Right? That's kind of the point.
And that can be time delay. Like if you want to we have clients, like if you're looking to do A/B testing. So we have some clients that are testing digital only, direct mail only, direct mail followed by digital, digital followed by direct mail. Yeah. So there can be time delays, like that all can be figured out in the objectives of the business
What's
goals.
The journey, right? Let's map that out. Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of maybe on the programmatic direct mail side, I don't think we got into, I think you mentioned maybe on the last one a little bit, but in terms of like rough sizing, like if somebody wants to get into this, they want to get, started, they want to pick a use case, try it out. Yeah. You mentioned there's a certain kind of quality level of size that you would recommend.
Yeah, I think it may not even be so much the size. I mean, you have to take a look at how well can you boil down your prospects to the best of the best. And then, of course, reflect that against your budget and then run that. But it's also about running that number for a period of time to get the full assessment of the progress of the campaign and the effectiveness of the campaign. So
Yeah.
we've kind of landed on like a 3-month minimum. Like many customers have gone beyond that.
Yeah.
But 3 months seems to be like the minimum window you want to go to get a proper cross reference of all of the different potential touch points that a customer might respond to through this, right? So we've got some customers where some campaigns where we had so many prospects coming in, we had to boil it down, and it ended up, okay, we added this filter, that filter, and it should be getting better and better and better. We're in the primary marketing area. We're also now in the demographic layers on, and we've looked at perhaps the physical retargeting aspect. Where have they been? What are they doing? Those kinds of things, and we've come up with we've still got 500 or 1,000 a day, and we can just say, okay, at this point, we've almost exhausted every like, these should be so amazing, these prospects. Then we'll just take it from there. We can actually just put them and do some random pulls out of that, and maybe get it down to 250 a day or 1,000 a week or whatever we want to do to maximize on postage. But having said that, maybe there's an argument for where, we'll take a look at those prospects, and if we can find a way to cross-reference them to existing customers, maybe we can also say, okay, we know one of our existing customers exists in this postal code, and we have their email address. Maybe that should trigger out an email as well at the same time. Right.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, some kind of digital marketing as well on top of that.
A digital ad unit.
A digital ad unit, as you put it. Yeah. See, I don't even know what that is. Yeah. I mean, I do know what it is, but it doesn't roll off like.
No.
I can talk to you about postcards.
Yeah. Okay. Lane, did you sound like you want to jump in on that? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of losing my train of thought now for a minute, so we'll probably have to edit this out. But
no, we're not. Not editing.
No, not editing it at all.
Yeah.
I did have something, but I think I've kind of lost it now. But okay.
Well, I think the part of the what you're saying is that you don't have to have millions of prospects in order to make this type of thing work, right? I mean, when people, I don't know this to be true. This may be a little bit more of an anecdote from my side, but I think sometimes when we talk to clients about direct mail, that they almost have this like preconceived, well, we got to be mailing 100,000 people,
Right.
They kind of don't understand that actually this thing has been brought down to a layer where it's very accessible for businesses. You have to do what you had suggested earlier, like refine.
Yeah.
But, DirectWorks isn't going out there saying, oh yeah, you got to be mailing, 10,000 a week
you need
minimum,
you need a $400,000 budget for
exactly.
to get it off the ground,
right?
No.
And what Dan was saying earlier, like if you did go through all the filtering and we found our best clients and we're still our best prospects, and we're still looking at say 5,000 and your budget is only 500 a day, we can then go through some random filtering to narrow that down to fit your budget. So we're able to do that.
So I mean, if I was to, sorry to interrupt, but what I'm kind of visualizing is the right audience, the right offer at the right time through the right channel to your budget.
Sure, to your budget, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not like you can't do multiples of these. You might have enough budget to try 3 or 4 different campaigns at the same time.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting because on the digital platform side, you have a lot of this granularity of control, right? You can say, hey, I only want to spend, as you guys know, we only want to spend $250 a week, right? Dollars.
Yep.
Okay, well then that means what these platforms will tell you is that means this is roughly who you're going to be able to, this number of people you're going to be able to target.
Right. And that I like to jump on that.
Yeah.
Not only is it going to be targeting in terms of, could be direct mail, but it could be a combination of email and direct mail, right? Or a combination of all three, potentially, digital ads and email and direct marketing, even to that same prospect group, right? Within one kind of drip, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. And one of the advancements that's made, and I don't know a lot about this, but because it's not an area that we focus on, but I've been learning a little bit about it around the smart TV advertising that's coming into play, where what you're starting to see is more and more digital advertising tool sets that allow them to go and run ads in a very similar way that we would be running them on, say, like a Facebook platform, right? And what that's doing, and I think it's kind of what you're saying as well, is that your audience might be quite large, but you want to refine your campaign to a smaller level to start, right? So you're starting to offer that same granularity of control to target, to the frequency, the cadence, all this kind of stuff. You're offering that on the physical mail side, and then what we're talking about today is, well, actually we can mail that into, or we can integrate that into some digital avenues, digital channels as well. But really interesting when you think about, the message around that, almost like we should think about explaining it that way to a marketer. Like, imagine if you had a dashboard where you could do this type of thing that you're doing on Facebook, but for your direct mail pieces, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And integrating that with Facebook.
And then on top of that, snapping your digital tooling on top of that. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think on the quantity side too, just that you kind of define what you're looking at doing as far as budgeting each day, whether it's 100 pieces or 1,000 pieces. The other consideration is, is this a national campaign? Is it a local campaign? Again, if you're talking about automotive earlier, you think about automotive, is this being marketed for the dealership, or are we looking at the OEM? Mm-hmm. So at the dealership level, you may only want to go out with 100 pieces a day because you're focused on one specific dealership, where at OEM, maybe there's 50 dealerships across the campaign that we're looking to utilize. So 100 pieces across 50 dealerships doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. So then your quantity per day is going to increase. So we can define that as well. So if we had 50 dealerships that only want to do 100 pieces a day, we can control that as well for the 50 dealerships.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff. Do we feel like we've nailed it?
I feel like I hope that we've created enough excitement and interest and enough information that it kind of prompts the kind of questions that we'd love to get from our customers about how we can apply this, right? I feel like we could easily go down a lot of rabbit holes here and end up with an awful lot of hard to digest information. But the whole idea, again, it just keeps on coming back to the timing is incredibly important. Mm-hmm. The refinement aspect of, like, for any marketing campaign is incredibly important. The ability to integrate with multiple channels provides that flexibility and can impact the reach of your budget as well, right?
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point on budget. Maybe I just want to talk a bit about this, that, this isn't the same world that we were in 2 years ago, right? Two, and the bull run that occurred like 8 years before that, marketing departments are squeezed, right? Yeah. And actually, this type of program is exactly the type of program that people should be looking at in order to use their budget wisely, right? You're talking about this intelligence, the quality of the targeting.
Turnkey.
Turnkey. We're not adding a bunch of headcount in order to pull stuff like this off. So because we're an agency, you guys probably see a little of this as well, talking to marketing companies, but we're in conversations all the time. People are, we're shrinking our budgets. We're shrinking our team. Hey, I'm brand new here because the last team was blowing the budget and my job is now to get everything back on track, right? It's not that budgets are zero, but they're not just going to be, spending uncontrollably like they kind of were there for a bit, especially after COVID. There was a lot of money flying around. Right. So I think this is a great message actually for people that want to go into 2024 or whenever they're listening to this, and not just going in with a blank check. It's like, no, we're going to help you actually maximize that budget. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the nice things about this this whole package is that it's something that is very budget friendly, or it can be your whole budget. I mean, obviously that's, we'd love that. Yeah, sure. But honestly, it's one of those things that, you come across and it's going to be a great piece of your mix. It's going to be something that integrates with a whole bunch of your systems and is very easy to put together. Just, you're dealing with an organization here we've done this. We have templates, we have workflows, we have knowledge of what's possible. So it's really just a question of, is the timing right for you in your marketing budget to do a test that isn't going to be $100,000 to get it going. Great. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Lane. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you again, your insights. It's great to work with
somebody, have somebody on the podcast that's kind of on that digital side, which is not necessarily what runs through our veins, but we're learning.
Yeah.
and certainly learning how to apply what we have here with the digital side, right?
100%.
So thank you for joining us. Look forward to perhaps some more questions from the crowd, so to speak. And if you want to reach out, we can be found at directworks.ca. And you can reach for Lane or myself, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions anybody may have. Have a great day.